Welcome, everyone, to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a fundamental truth, one that could genuinely reshape your entire experience of life. It's this: you don't get a better life by simply waiting for it. Nope. You get it by actively building better habits. If you pause for a moment, like truly consider your life right now, in this very instant, you'll probably see it's a direct reflection of your habits, how you act, how you think, how you show up each day, even how you react when things get tough. And if you've ever found yourself feeling stuck, maybe a little lost, or just, mentally exhausted, it's rarely because you're fundamentally broken. More often than not, it's because your daily habits, those seemingly small, consistent actions, they might actually be working against you, silently undermining your efforts without you even fully realizing it. So our mission statement for this deep dive is to explore a truly liberating truth. You possess the innate power to completely rewire your mindset. And the really incredible part, this transformation doesn't require some massive, unattainable overhaul next year or even next month. It happens by intentionally changing what you do every single day, starting today, right now. For this journey, we're drawing powerful insights from a really compelling audiobook transcript. It meticulously walks us through 10 positive habits that will rewire your mindset. And this isn't just theoretical jargon, or abstract philosophy. These habits are presented as simple, clear, real-life practices. They're specifically designed to help you think sharper, feel better, focus stronger, and crucially, finally move forward with your life in a tangible way. Now, the source material makes a pretty bold promise. It suggests that if you commit to applying even just one of these habits, your life will begin to shift. But if you embrace all 10, well, the claim is that everything, truly everything, has the potential to change. What makes this particular framework so compelling, I think, is its ruthless focus on immediate microactions. It makes that daunting task of self-improvement feel, well, remarkably accessible. It breaks it down into actionable steps, less overwhelming than those grand abstract goals. It really speaks to that direct pathway to agency, doesn't it?
It really does. And what's particularly insightful about this approach is its fundamental premise that our daily routines, which, let's be honest, often operate beneath the surface of conscious awareness. They are the true, often invisible architects of our personal reality. We frequently spend our time focusing on, grand ambitions or external circumstances, waiting for something outside of us to change. But this material brings it right back down to the micro level, to the consistent choices we make moment to moment. It emphasizes how they compound over time to shape not just what we do, but ultimately who we become. It's a powerful reminder that the small, often unnoticed, choices are where our real power lies.
It's so true. It takes this abstract concept of self-improvement and just grounds it firmly in tangible, repeatable actions. So let's begin this deep dive into these 10 habits. Starting with one that truly lays the groundwork for everything else. It impacts the very first moments of your day. Habit 1, wake up with a purpose and stop wasting time. Okay, this first habit, wake up with a purpose and stop wasting time, might sound, well, deceptively simple, like something we've all heard before. But the core concept here delves deeper than just, getting out of bed early. It's about starting each and every day with clear intention, with direction. And it's fueled by a profound, almost visceral understanding of time's irreplaceable value. It's not just about what you're getting out of bed to do, but why, the why behind it all.
Exactly. And the problem this habit addresses is incredibly common, yet surprisingly insidious in its effects. The source points out that most people simply open their eyes and, well, they drift out of bed. No real direction, no urgency, no clear, compelling reason for their actions. It's not a lack of intelligence or talent that holds them back, is that they begin their day as if it doesn't truly matter, as if time is this infinite resource they can just squander.
Yeah.
And when you live like that, passively letting the hours dictate you, days just slip right out of your hands. This profound lack of intentionality leads to feeling perpetually stuck, mentally tired, and eventually a slow erosion of drive and motivation. Regardless of how smart or capable you might be, it's a passive approach, reactive.
And the why it matters is incredibly stark when you really internalize it. The core argument is powerful almost. Unsettling. Your time is your life, that's all life is time. It's so plainly put, yet so profoundly true. Wasting time, then, is directly equated to wasting your very life. That thought should, as the source suggests, shake something inside of you. It really should. It's a wake-up call to the finite nature of our existence, a reminder that this day, these hours, you don't get them back. If you don't use this time to build something meaningful, it simply disappears forever, irretrievably lost.
And that's where the emphasis on intentionality's power becomes so critical. When you have genuine clarity, when you can confidently say, okay, I'm doing this today and I know precisely why, It fundamentally changes everything. It's not just some superficial productivity hack. It's a deep-seated shift in your energy and your focus. That clarity acts as a powerful lens. It gives you a surge of energy. It sharpens your mental faculties. It helps you instinctively say no to irrelevant distractions and makes your actions more focused, faster, more direct. It's all about being proactive rather than constantly reacting to whatever pops up.
It completely flips the script on how we often approach motivation, doesn't it? We tend to wait to feel motivated before we act. Like, I'll do it when I feel like it. But here, the material powerfully argues that purpose acts as this incredible fuel. It gives you that internal fire. It completely negates the need to wait for motivation to strike. It suggests that people with purpose act, and that sense of motivation or readiness, it comes later as a result of the action itself. What really resonates with me here is the idea that treating your time like your most valuable currency, that can completely shift your daily approach. It's a profound reframing of what we often just take for granted.
Exactly. If we connect this to the bigger picture, this habit isn't just about surface-level productivity. Not at all. It's about a profound recognition that every single moment is a non-renewable resource, and that genuine sustained growth begins with respecting that fundamental truth. It's about becoming a conscientious steward of your own finite life. And the practical application here is highly actionable. It makes this principle tangible. The force suggests waking up as if your life is on the line because, well, in a very real sense it is. You don't get this day back. You're encouraged to ask yourself every morning, what am I building today? That simple question shifts the focus away from a mundane, endless to-do list or what you merely feel like doing towards concrete, meaningful building, whether that's building confidence, building strength, or building the foundation of a desired future.
I love that analogy of treating time like money. It makes it so incredibly tangible. The source poses a striking question. Would you give away your last dollar to someone who didn't earn it? Then why do you give away your last hour to things that don't grow you? It's a stark, almost uncomfortably honest reminder to invest your time currency wisely, with the same discernment you'd apply to your finances. And the morning reflection piece is absolutely critical. It advises against grabbing your phone immediately. Big mistake. Instead, it suggests you sit still, take a few deep breaths, and ask yourself, what do I truly need to focus on today? Not what's urgent, not what people expect, but what matters to you, what moves your life forward. Then crucially, write it down. Set that focus firmly. That's how you begin the day with strength and intention, not reaction.
The benefits and impact of adopting this habit are far-reaching. They ripple into every aspect of your life. It naturally leads to increased confidence, a palpable sense of inner strength, the actual creation of a desired future, and a powerful, undeniable sense of momentum and progress. Ultimately, it fosters a completely new mindset, one where you're actively shaping your reality. It emphasizes that purpose isn't some fleeting emotion you wait for. It's a deliberate decision backed by consistent discipline. That allows you to own your mornings and, by extension, your entire day, giving time the profound value it inherently deserves.
And the common pitfalls. Oh, they're incredibly easy to fall into, aren't they? We're often trapped in living by sheer routine and a steady stream of excuses, always waiting for a perfect moment to begin, or endlessly preparing to start without ever actually taking the leap. It's that subtle self-sabotage, that quiet inertia that keeps so many people trapped in cycles of stagnation. This habit truly is the antidote. It cuts through the excuses and propels you forward. Habit 2. Plan your day before the world distracts you. Moving seamlessly from establishing your purpose, let's dive into habit 2. Plan your day before the world distracts you. The core concept here is about taking absolute proactive control of your day. By consciously deciding your priorities and meticulously scheduling your time before external demands or the endless cacophony of modern distractions can even begin to take over, it's about you declaring how your day will unfold, rather than just letting it happen to you.
Yeah, and the problem this habit addresses is almost universally relatable. It's a daily struggle for so many. The very moment your feet hit the floor, it feels as if everything is designed to pull you in 100 different directions. People want your time, notifications clamor for attention, your own mind starts jumping erratically from one thought to another. If you haven't taken control first, with a clear plan, the world will inevitably take it for you. It just will. Most people in their daily lives live reactively. They don't consciously decide how their day will go. Instead, they simply respond to whatever shows up. They open their phone, check email, scroll through social media, and before they know it, bam, they've started following everyone else's agenda. And the predictable result? The truly important things don't get done. Significant goals remain elusive. Stress builds. Minds get cluttered with fragmented thoughts, and by day's end, they're left wondering where all the time vanished. The source is very clear on this. Simply being busy is not the same as being genuinely productive.
It's a critical distinction, absolutely. And the why this matters goes deep. Planning is how you effectively set the foundational tone for your entire day. It's how you stay centered amidst the chaos, ensuring that you're working diligently on the right things, the tasks that truly move you forward instead of merely running in place. This practice imbues you with an incredible sense of power and control. When you plan ahead, you eliminate guesswork. You don't sit around wondering, okay, what should I do next? Because you've already made that strategic decision. As the source wisely puts it, people who wing it usually waste it, but people who plan it build it. It's a direct, undeniable link to purposeful, effective action.
hmm And beyond productivity, there's also a significant, often overlooked, anxiety reduction benefit here. Trying to hold too much information in your head, constantly juggling tasks and priorities mentally. It's inherently overwhelming. It leads to cognitive overload. But when you take just 5 to 10 minutes in the morning to externalize everything, to clearly write down what needs to be done, when you'll do it, what your primary focus is, you effectively free your working memory to think clearly. You give yourself definitive direction. You stop that exhausting cycle of overthinking, precisely because you've created structure. And structure, without a doubt, brings a profound sense of peace. This doesn't need to be some overly complex or rigid plan, It just requires clear intention. This raises a really important question for me. If our mental health and energy levels are so deeply dependent on how we spend our precious time, isn't planning less about simply checking off tasks and more about a fundamental act of self-preservation, of mental well-being?
That's such a powerful reframe, yeah. So what this all means is that those first few moments of the day, they're a critical battleground. A battleground for your focus and energy and planning. That's your undeniable strategic advantage in that battle. The practical application, the how, emphasizes seeking silence in the morning, not just physical quiet, but also cultivating mental clarity. You grab a notebook and you meticulously write out your top 3 non-negotiable goals for the day. You deliberately decide your priorities, you schedule specific blocks for deep work, those tasks requiring intense focus, and you consciously create sacred space for concentrated effort. The guiding question that cuts through the noise is, what must get done today to move me closer to the life I truly want? This question, as the source highlights, is the ultimate filter. It eliminates distractions because it clarifies what genuinely matters, and crucially, it warns against relying solely on willpower. Willpower is finite, it runs out. Instead, it urges you to rely on structure and clarity, especially when life inevitably throws curveballs and gets messy. Your carefully crafted plan then becomes your unshakable anchor. Your North Star for the day.
Absolutely. The benefits and impact of consistently integrating this habit are extensive. They compound over time. It leads to a profound sense of centeredness, genuine productivity, a palpable feeling of power and control over your own day, and significantly reduced anxiety. It provides an invaluable structure, brings inner peace, and systematically builds discipline. It fosters clear habit formation because you've explicitly made space for your desired actions. Your mindset becomes remarkably sharper, your confidence undeniably increases, and you begin to cultivate a new, empowering identity, someone who is truly in charge of their life, someone who deeply respects their own time. Ultimately, it's about shifting from merely surviving your days to actively, intentionally building the life you envision.
And the common pitfalls here are incredibly easy to recognize once you become aware of them. Perpetually living reactively, endlessly checking emails or social media feeds, simply hoping that important things will magically get done, or perhaps most dangerously, not fully internalizing the fundamental truth. If you don't actively control your time, someone else or something else will most certainly control it for you. This habit puts the power squarely and unequivocally back in your hands. Habit 3. Talk to yourself like someone you respect. Okay, moving to habit 3, we delve into something truly profound and foundational. Talk to yourself like someone you respect. The core concept here is about fundamentally radically changing your internal language, your inner dialogue. It means consciously adopting a voice of kindness, patience, and unwavering encouragement within your own mind, mirroring the respect and compassion you so readily and effortlessly show to others you care about. It's about becoming your own best friend, your most unwavering supporter, rather than your harshest, most relentless critic.
And the problem this habit addresses is an invisible, yet deeply damaging silent killer of potential. We all have an ongoing inner conversation, right? A constant monologue that runs perpetually in our minds. But for the vast majority of people, this inner voice is harsh. It's impatient. It's relentlessly negative. It's often brimming with judgment, comparison, criticism, and corrosive self-doubt. The truly astonishing, almost absurd part is this. If someone else spoke to us with the same dismissive, demeaning, or impatient tone that we often use with ourselves, we would immediately cut them off, or at least challenge them, right? Yet, we passively allow this damaging internal voice to persist, to chip away at us, largely because we've never been taught, or perhaps never fully understood, the profound importance of speaking to ourselves with that same unwavering respect.
Yeah, it's like we give ourselves a pass to be cruel in a way we never would with others. And the why this matters is critical for the very formation of our identity and our capacity for growth. The source states it plainly. The way you speak to yourself becomes the way you see yourself, and the way you see yourself controls what you expect from life. This isn't just some feel-good platitude. It's a foundational psychological principle. It's real. You simply cannot build genuine, resilient confidence by constantly tearing yourself down. It doesn't work. You cannot grow stronger by continually feeding your mind with doubt and self-criticism. And you most certainly cannot create a better life if you're consistently telling yourself you're not good enough, not smart enough, or that you don't deserve it. It becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy of limitation, a subtle but powerful internal block.
And the impact of our words, even our silent internal ones, is immense. Your mind is always listening. It absorbs everything you say, even seemingly innocent jokes or offhand self-deprecating remarks. When you jokingly call yourself lazy after a minor delay, your mind takes note. When you declare even silently that you're not smart enough to grasp the new concept, your mind starts to believe it. And once a belief is repeated enough, it solidifies. It becomes deeply ingrained, eventually manifesting in your behavior. Respectful self-talk also builds crucial mental toughness. It creates an inner resilience. You'll desperately need this inner strength, which the source aptly calls a shield, when others doubt you, when external results are slow, or when fear, that inevitable companion, shows up. If your mind turns against you in those critical moments, you're almost guaranteed to quit. It's true. But if your inner voice is firm, calm, clear, and supportive, you'll possess the unwavering resolve to stay the course, even when it's difficult.
That's a really important distinction because some people mistakenly believe that being hard on themselves is the only way to stay disciplined. Right?
Yeah.
It's tough love. But there's a critical difference between discipline and disrespect, isn't there? Discipline is, okay, I expect more from myself because I know what I'm truly capable of. I believe in my potential, so I'm pushing for it. It's a push born from a place of deep belief and self-respect. Disrespect, on the other hand, is, I'm not good enough, so I'll probably never make it. Why even bother? One lifts you up, inspires action, guides you toward growth. The other wears you down, paralyzes you with doubt, and often leads to giving up. When we unpack this, wow. The incredible power of our inner monologue and how it literally shapes who we become is laid bare. It's not just a nice idea, it's the very architecture of your self-concept.
Exactly. And this habit, when practiced consistently, moves far beyond just boosting self-esteem. It becomes an actual form of mental training, systematically building a robust, resilient internal framework for sustained growth. The practical application, the how, begins with a fundamental shift. Awareness. Just noticing. Start meticulously paying attention to the precise words you use internally, the tone, the judgment. Ask yourself sincerely, would you utter those same things to a friend, a child, or a mentor whom you admire and deeply respect? Probably not. Then actively engage in cognitive restructuring. Replace those automatic negative thoughts. Don't just let them sit there. When you catch yourself thinking, I'm not good at, don't let it go unchecked. Immediately reframe it to, okay, I'm still learning this and I will get better. If you hear, I can't handle this, counter it with, this is hard, yes, but I've handled difficult things before and I can handle this too. This isn't superficial affirmation. It's deliberate, consistent mental training, reshaping your neural pathways over time.
I think about how you talk to a child who's learning to walk or ride a bike. You don't shout at them or call them clumsy when they fall. Of course not. You guide, you encourage, you tell them, try again, or you're doing great, keep going.
Yeah.
We need to apply the same principle of guidance over insults to ourselves. It's crucial. It's about cultivating honesty and fairness. Admit where you went wrong, acknowledge mistakes, but do so without labeling yourself a failure. Big difference. You can earnestly want to improve without believing you're inherently broken. And crucially, celebrate effort, not just perfect outcomes. Talk about your goals like they truly matter, like they are actively unfolding. Celebrate the process, the struggle, the consistency, not solely the finished product.
The benefits and profound impact of this habit are truly transformative. It subtly yet powerfully changes your physical posture, makes your decisions bolder and more confident, and build a genuine, unwavering belief in your innate capacity for change. It helps you stop settling for less than you deserve and actively pursue what you truly desire. It cultivates deep self-trust and a quiet inner power. It significantly reduces your need for constant external approval, And ultimately, it leads to real, enduring confidence that comes from within. You stop needing so much praise or validation from the world because you have built your own unwavering internal support system. It's liberating.
And the common pitfalls are so incredibly seductive, aren't they? Letting self-talk spiral completely out of control from one small mistake, allowing a single slip-up to become a catastrophic declaration of, I always mess things up. Or, perhaps even more subtly, believing that being hard on oneself is the only way to stay disciplined, when in fact, as we've discussed, it's often the quickest way to wear yourself down, erode your inner resolve, and eventually quit altogether. This habit teaches you a far more sustainable, powerful path to genuine growth and resilience. 4. Habit 4. Take action when your mind says delay again. All right, let's confront a universal challenge with habit 4. Take action when your mind says delay again. The core concept here is about cultivating an immediate, almost instinctual responsive action, especially in those crucial fleeting moments when your mind, that master negotiator, presents every conceivable, seemingly logical reason to procrastinate or postpone. It's about recognizing that internal negotiation for what it is, a trap, and choosing to move forward regardless of how you feel. Pushing through.
Yes, and this habit directly addresses what I consider a silent killer of dreams and potential. Seriously. The instant your thoughts start convincing you to wait, to postpone, to think about it later, that precise, critical moment is when your future, for that task or goal anyway, is fundamentally decided. Not tomorrow, not next week, but right there, in that fleeting window of hesitation. This resistance, which the Source powerfully calls the wall between who you are and who you could become, that's where most people lose the battle. They don't lose because they're weak. They lose because they implicitly believe the delay. They trust that persuasive internal voice, that voice that whispers, not now, you're tired, it's not the right time. And what's truly insidious is that they don't even realize that this voice of logic is precisely what's keeping them perpetually stuck. These delays often show up dressed in remarkably convincing disguises, sounding perfectly rational. I'm genuinely tired today, I'll feel more ready tomorrow, this isn't quite the right time. It sounds reasonable, even protective, but in reality, it's just a deeply ingrained habit of hesitation, a powerful cognitive bias. And if you don't challenge it, that habit grows stronger, eventually becoming an invisible chain.
It's so true how easily we fall for that inner negotiator. Every single time you give in and delay, that habit of hesitation strengthens. It leads to a profound loss of self-trust in your ability to follow through on your own intentions. You stop believing yourself. You simply cannot build or grow consistently by perpetually avoiding the necessary work. It just doesn't happen. That's precisely why this habit, taking action exactly when your mind says delay, is presented as the real breakthrough. It's not about waiting for a surge of motivation. It's about your immediate discipline response. That first few seconds when your brain begins to argue, to say pause, that's your critical window to step forward. Not because you feel like it, but because you've consciously decided to be the kind of person who follows through anyway, overriding the internal argument. What really strikes me here is the realization that what often sounds like perfectly logical reasoning for delay is more often than not just a brilliant disguise for simple procrastination. It's avoidance wearing a clever, convincing costume.
Exactly. And we connect this to the bigger picture. This habit is not just about doing tasks, it's deeper. It's about fundamentally rewiring your relationship with discomfort and commitment. It's about powerfully signaling to your brain that you are firmly in control, not your fleeting emotions or temporary states. Every single time you act when you don't feel like it, when the inertia is strong, you systematically build an incredibly robust internal discipline. And that one decisive decision to start, even without perfect conditions or a surge of energy, immediately creates momentum. And momentum is an incredibly powerful psychological force. Once you begin, things miraculously start to shift. Energy often shows up, clarity returns, and the very task you were dreading no longer feels as heavy. The starting, that initial friction, was indeed the hardest part. The Source emphasizes a crucial point. The longer you delay, the heavier things psychologically feel, transforming simple tasks into overwhelming mental burdens that lead to chronic guilt and silently drain your precious mental energy in the background. Growth only happens on the other side of action. Your primitive mind wants safety, comfort, the familiar. But your deeper self, your soul, yearns for expansion and progress. This creates an internal conflict that critically requires you to choose movement over debilitating delay.
The practical application, the how, is about being quicker, more agile than the excuse itself. You have to recognize the trap of internal negotiation your mind initiates, and it's sneaky. You must act within that incredibly short window, sometimes just a few seconds before the mind fully takes over and pulls you back into that familiar pattern of delay. The advice is remarkably simple, almost deceptively so. Don't argue, don't debate, don't analyze with the hesitation, just act. Take one small step, make one small movement, one firm decision. It also powerfully suggests focusing on doing the small things immediately. Waking with the first alarm, responding to an email right away, starting your workout without endless preamble, opening that book even if only for a page. These aren't just minor tasks. They are powerful, cumulative proof that you're becoming someone who follows through. It's about actively practicing execution over delay. Because as the source powerfully states, and I find this incredibly insightful, you don't need more time, you need less hesitation. Boom, right there.
Absolutely. The benefits and profound impact of consistently cultivating this habit are truly significant and enduring. It systematically builds unwavering discipline, dramatically increases self-respect, which the source humorously yet accurately terms a self-pigeon upgrade, meaning you're upgrading your internal status and value, and drives profound long-term change. It frees your mind from the insidious lingering stress of unfinished tasks and unfulfilled intentions. It increases your focus, unlocks greater creativity, and builds genuine confidence. It fundamentally shifts you from being a passive victim of your fleeting emotions to actively creating the right feeling by doing the right thing. You quite literally become someone you can consistently count on, a person of action, reliable to yourself.
And the common pitfalls, oh, they're almost too easy to fall into. Perpetually waiting for a better moment to magically appear, which rarely happens. Or stubbornly waiting until you feel ready, which, as the source makes abundantly clear, are often just sophisticated, well-rationalized forms of avoidance. This habit forces you to confront that deeply ingrained tendency head-on and break through it. V Habit 5. Push yourself to finish what you start today. Now for Habit 5. Push yourself to finish what you start today. This habit's core concept is about developing an unwavering, ironclad commitment to completing tasks on the very same day they are initiated. It's about moving decisively beyond merely starting something, fueled by initial enthusiasm, to consistently seeing it through to complete absolute closure, finishing the job.
The problem it addresses is a subtle but incredibly pervasive one that drains mental energy. Big time. Anyone can begin something. Starting is almost always the easy part, right? Often fueled by an initial surge of excitement or motivation. But finishing, that's the real test. And that's precisely where true growth actually happens. The source insightfully highlights that unfinished work doesn't simply disappear into the ether. No, it becomes profound mental clutter, lingering persistently in the back of your mind, like open loops. This creates undue cognitive pressure, silently steals your focus, and over time, subtly chips away at your hard-earned confidence. It leads you to doubt your fundamental ability to follow through on your own commitments. It's a self-perpetuating loop of incompleteness that quietly yet powerfully drains your mental and emotional energy, leaving you feeling perpetually overwhelmed. This is actually a well-documented psychological phenomenon, the Zeigarnik effect, where incomplete tasks hold a disproportionate amount of mental attention compared to completed ones.
That's fascinating, how those lingering tasks create a cognitive load.
Yeah.
And the why it matters cuts deep into the very fabric of character and self-integrity. Finishing builds integrity within you. It proves to yourself unequivocally that you don't need to feel perfect or even particularly motivated or inspired to complete what you set out to do. It reinforces a crucial consistency that ripples across your entire life. The source notes, with striking accuracy, how you do one thing often becomes how you do everything. It's true. If you allow yourself to cut corners, to leave things half done, or to abandon small commitments, you'll inevitably find yourself doing so on the bigger, more consequential ones too. So finishing that workout, diligently cleaning that desk, or completing that email, these aren't just task completions. They are powerful, cumulative repetitions of a high standard you are setting for yourself, building a robust internal consistency.
Absolutely. Every completed task, no matter how seemingly insignificant, builds a crucial mental edge, a quiet confidence. That effortlessly carries over into other unrelated areas of your life. Finishing a challenging workout, for instance, can unexpectedly lead to you having stronger, more assertive conversations later that day. Or completing a complex project can instill a profound sense of self-belief that empowers you to confidently tackle the next, even larger challenge. When you consistently follow through on your commitments, especially when no one else is actively holding you accountable, you quite literally become your own leader. Your discipline transforms from external pressure into an internal, unstoppable force. This quiet internal discipline consistently leads to remarkable clarity and renewed energy. Completion, in a psychological sense, closes the loop in your mind. It provides a definitive sense of closure, and it frees up invaluable mental space that was previously occupied by lingering thoughts of incompleteness. Conversely, incomplete tasks chronically drain energy, leaving you feeling perpetually stuck in a state of mental limbo.
So, pulling all this together, what does this all mean? The seemingly simple, almost mundane act of finishing. It isn't just about ticking off items on a to-do list, not at all. It's profoundly about forging inner strength, building resilience, and cultivating a deep, unwavering sense of self-trust. It's about prioritizing true progress over simply recycling the same unfinished tasks day after day. Finishing today means you decisively move on tomorrow. You truly progress and build momentum instead of endlessly restarting the same tasks over and over again. You stop being inefficient, you gain undeniable forward momentum and a sense of powerful accomplishment.
Hmm. This raises an important question for me. If discipline is often externally perceived as a harsh, unyielding push, how does the act of consistently finishing allow for a quiet internal victory? A victory that systematically compounds into true self-mastery and inner freedom. It's quite profound. The practical application, the how, involves rigorously training yourself to stay focused and committed. Even when the task isn't exciting, when it's unexpectedly harder than anticipated, or when you'd much rather be resting or doing something else entirely. It's about adopting a firm, non-negotiable personal discipline. If I started this today, I will absolutely finish it today. Period. You push through not because it's convenient or feels good, but precisely because your personal standards, your internal contract with yourself, matter more than your transient mood or fleeting feelings. Cultivate a palpable sense of urgency, not a frantic, rushed feeling, but a clear, present sense of purpose and commitment. Ask yourself what absolutely needs to be done, then execute it fully, completely, without half finishing or leaving any loose ends. Give yourself the immense gift of completion.
It's fundamentally about unwavering commitment, not elusive perfection. And crucially, don't overanalyze. Don't wait for a burst of inspiration. Don't stall. Just act, complete, and decisively move forward.
The benefits and impact are truly immense and far-reaching. This habit systematically builds profound character, strengthens your integrity, cultivates a powerful mental edge, deepens self-trust, brings clarity to your mind, builds genuine confidence, and fosters emotional strength. It makes you remarkably clear-headed and empowers you to win quietly, consistently, and without needing external validation. It definitively breaks the debilitating loop of incompleteness that traps so many talented, well-intentioned people, allowing them to finally realize their potential.
And the common pitfalls are so tempting and easy to rationalize, aren't they? Telling yourself, it's no big deal to leave things unfinished, or falling for the ever-present seductive whisper of, I'll definitely get back to it tomorrow.
Okay.
But as the source eloquently clarifies, those seemingly small, innocuous concessions quietly chip away at your internal integrity, making it progressively harder to trust yourself and your own commitments in the long run. It's a silent erosion of self-belief. Habit 6, say no to things that drain your energy.
Habit 6 is a truly powerful and often liberating one. Say no to things that drain your energy. The core concept here is about consciously and assertively declining requests, habits, and even relationships that relentlessly deplete your vital energy, thereby strategically protecting your precious peace, focus, and overall well-being. It's a proactive, almost defensive stance against being perpetually spread thin. It's a declaration of self-worth.
Yeah, the problem this habit addresses, something we all face, often multiple times daily. It's constant. You're constantly being pulled in countless directions by other people's demands, by incessant digital devices, and by unserving habits that subtly creep into your routine without conscious invitation. Without fully realizing it, your limited energy reserves are being steadily drained by things that genuinely do not move your life forward, things that don't align with your deepest values or goals. Constantly saying yes to everything, to every request or obligation, inevitably leads to spreading yourself dangerously thin, leaving no mental space or emotional bandwidth for deep focus, for essential rest and recovery, or for the very things you actually care about and want to invest in. This, as the source bluntly yet accurately puts it, is simply poor management of energy.
And the why it matters is because your energy, unlike what many of us implicitly assume, is not infinite. It's finite. You wake up each day with a limited amount, and how you choose to spend it fundamentally dictates whether you successfully build something meaningful and lasting, or if you simply pour it indiscriminately into achieving your goals and simultaneously managing a host of distractions. You truly cannot do both effectively. You just can't. The power of saying no is immense and often underestimated. Every unnecessary yes is accurately described as a slow leak of your personal power. I love that phrasing. Saying no is powerful precisely because it creates invaluable space, it clears your path, and it serves as a profound, non-negotiable reminder that your time, your focus, and your energy are valuable commodities that deserve to be guarded fiercely.
What's genuinely fascinating here is how saying no is not fundamentally a refusal of others, but rather a profound, often life-altering yes to your own life force, to your deepest priorities. to your authentic self. The source powerfully highlights that some of life's most significant breakthroughs don't come from doing more, but paradoxically, from removing what drains you. This isn't just about big, obvious things either. It could be draining conversations, unimportant and low-impact tasks, emotionally toxic relationships, or even mindless, unproductive routines like endless social media scrolling. We all do it. All of these seemingly small leaks add up to a significant drain on your vitality. Saying no out of self-respect is unequivocally not selfish. The source presents it as survival, strategy, and essential growth. When you consistently abandon your own needs and boundaries to please others, you ultimately lose yourself, your energy, your sense of purpose. Your body, thankfully, also provides invaluable feedback. That heavy, frustrating, or tightening feeling you get when something is draining you, that is your internal feedback system telling you unequivocally, this is not for you. You absolutely need to learn to listen to that signal.
So pulling this together, what does this all mean? It reveals a counterintuitive yet deeply liberating idea that sometimes doing less, specifically eliminating what depletes you, is actually how we gain more. More space, more energy, more clarity for what truly matters. The practical application, the how, starts with a crucial step. An honest inventory, a real look. Pause and take stock. What activities, conversations, or relationships actively take from you and give absolutely nothing meaningful back? What makes you feel smaller, more anxious, or more depleted? What consistently pulls you away from your deepest priorities and intentions? That's precisely where your no needs to go. That's the target. It's all about intentionality. Be rigorously selective. Choose with extreme care where your finite attention goes. Who has access to your precious time? What gets an immediate response versus what gets consciously ignored or deferred? Learn to say no with clarity, not with guilt or hesitant apologies. Own it. Listen intently to your body's undeniable physical sensations of being drained and honor that feedback as a sacred guide. And crucially, act now. Don't procrastinate on saying no, because the longer you wait to say no, the more you'll inevitably resent the very things you've allowed to take over your life. It builds resentment. The guiding question becomes elegantly simple. Does this build me up or drain me down? If it drains, the instruction is clear. Say no with confidence, say no with peace, say no with the profound understanding that every single time you protect your energy, you simultaneously create invaluable space for exponential growth.
Absolutely. The benefits and impact of adopting this powerful habit are crystal clear and profoundly empowering. It consistently protects your inner peace, dramatically sharpens your focus, helps you regain absolute control over your schedule and emotional state, and creates essential, unburdened space for deep concentration and creative work. It fundamentally shifts you from being chronically reactive to external demands to being powerfully proactive in shaping your own life, leading directly to sustained growth, inner peace, and undeniable progress. It systematically builds a mindset founded on clarity and unwavering intention, one that consciously guards your energy as if it's sacred, because at the deepest level, it truly is.
And the common pitfalls. They're deeply ingrained, aren't they? The fear of upsetting people, the social conditioning that tells us not to seem rude, the insidious tendency to convince ourselves that our needs don't really matter as much as others, or the mistaken, often unconscious belief that our energy supply is somehow infinite. It's not. This habit directly challenges those ingrained, limiting patterns, providing a liberating path forward. Habit 7. Learn one new thing that sharpens your thinking. Next up, habit 7. Learn one new thing that sharpens your thinking. The core concept here is to embrace a daily, non-negotiable commitment to mental training, much like you'd train a muscle. By consistently seeking out at least one new idea, one fresh insight, or one challenging concept that actively pushes the boundaries of your existing thought patterns. It's about treating your mind not as a static repository of knowledge, but as a dynamic tool that requires regular, purposeful exercise to stay agile and effective. Keep it sharp.
Exactly. The problem it addresses is that the mind, very much like the physical body, requires consistent daily training to perform optimally. If ignored, if left to its own devices, it inevitably becomes lazy, it gets dull. It tends to repeat old, inefficient patterns. We all know that feeling. This leads to reactive instead of thoughtful, strategic responses to life's challenges. Staying mentally stagnant means you're almost guaranteed to keep repeating the same mistakes, falling into the same predictable traps, and operating with what the source calls outdated thinking in a world that is constantly, relentlessly evolving at an unprecedented pace. It's like trying to navigate a modern city with an old, inaccurate paper map. You'll get lost.
And the why it matters is foundational because, as the source clearly states, what you consciously choose to feed your mind literally becomes the foundation of your choices, your beliefs, and ultimately your results. Daily learning isn't just a pleasant intellectual hobby, it's a critical, non-negotiable component for true mental growth and adaptability. It systematically helps you become more aware of yourself, of your surroundings, more intentional in your actions, better prepared for whatever life throws your way. You start seeing things clearer, responding more effectively to challenges, becoming sharper, stronger, and more mentally stable. The world changes incredibly fast, and if your thinking doesn't grow and evolve alongside it, you inevitably fall behind. Not just in external metrics like career success, but crucially, in realizing your own internal potential. Sharp, adaptive thinking provides a vital edge in literally every area of life.
And this habit provides profound freedom from mental chaos. It really does. It equips you to make significantly better decisions, actively protects you from being hijacked by impulsive emotional reactions, allows for calm, strategic problem solving without succumbing to panic, and crucially, helps you distinguish with precision what's truly urgent from what's merely important in the deluge of daily information. It cuts through the noise. It gives you an incredible sense of control over your focus, systematically leading to what the source describes as freedom from confusion, freedom from frustration, freedom from the mental chaos that keeps so many people feeling stuck and overwhelmed. This raises an important question. If our intelligence, adaptability, and capacity for wise decision-making are key to thriving in our complex world, how does this habit reveal that being smart isn't a fixed inherited trait, but rather an active daily choice? A choice to stay prepared, adaptable, and continuously evolving. It shifts smart from a noun to a verb, doesn't it?
I really resonate with that idea. Yeah, smart as a verb. It highlights that intellectual curiosity isn't just a hobby for the academically inclined, but a daily, non-negotiable practice for building resilience and navigating life's complexities. The practical application, the how, emphasizes consistency above all else. It's not about massive chunks of time. This doesn't mean you need to read an entire complex book every single day or attend weekly academic seminars. Not realistic for most. It can be something as simple as internalizing a new principle about discipline, discovering a more efficient way to manage your time, uncovering a fresh truth about how habits truly work, or simply dedicating 5 focused pages to a compelling book. It could be listening intently to a thought-provoking podcast, dissecting a well-written article, engaging in a truly deep and challenging conversation, or even taking time for thoughtful reflection on a recent experience, dissecting the lessons learned. The key, as the source underscores, is the method doesn't matter, the discipline does. Find what works for you. You must make a conscious, unwavering choice to feed your mind something that strengthens, expands, and sharpens it every single day. It's about staying perpetually hungry for knowledge, maintaining a profound sense of curiosity, cultivating the humility to admit you don't know everything, and possessing the inner strength to actively go out and seek the answers.
The benefits and impact of consistently engaging in this habit are profoundly transformative. It leads to genuine, lasting intellectual maturity, cultivates immense patience, and fosters strategic, foresighted thinking. It builds a deep, quiet confidence that stems directly from true understanding, rather than just wishful thinking or external validation. It imbues you with the courage to act boldly and to lead effectively, meticulously prepares you for inevitable challenges, and dramatically increases your overall awareness, allowing you to see connections and opportunities that others simply miss. You develop the capacity to adapt faster to new information and changing circumstances, and ultimately you cultivate a clear, sharp, and intensely focused mind that becomes your single greatest asset in navigating the complexities of life.
And the common pitfalls are so easy to stumble into. The mistaken belief that learning somehow stops after formal education ends. It doesn't. Passively waiting for life to teach you hard, painful lessons through experience alone, why wait for the pain? Or simply staying on mental autopilot and allowing your mind to grow dull and reactive. This habit truly is the active, invigorating antidote to mental stagnation. It keeps you sharp. Habit 8, move around to stop your mood from sinking. All right, let's explore habit 8, move around to stop your mood from sinking. The core concept here is to deliberately use physical movement as an incredibly powerful, immediate, and accessible tool to actively shift your mental and emotional state, thereby effectively preventing or quickly pulling yourself out of low moods before they take a firm, debilitating root. It's an innate physiological reset button that's always available to you. You just have to push it.
Yeah, and the problem it addresses is a universal human experience. We've all been there. When your mood begins to drop, your physical energy often slows down commensurately. Your thinking typically gets cloudy and muddled, and everything around you starts to feel disproportionately heavier than it actually is, like wading through mud. Low moods, for many, often build subtly from prolonged inactivity, social isolation, and persistent negative thought patterns, creating a kind of mental and emotional inertia. Staying physically still in a bad emotional state allows those negative feelings to grow, to deepen the rut you're in. making it exponentially harder to break free from. Your mind, in these moments, truly has the capacity to turn against you, amplifying the negative.
And the why it matters is due to a direct, undeniable, and scientifically proven connection between our physical and mental states. It's not woo-woo, it's biology. As the source powerfully states, when you move your body, you shift your state. Simple, direct. Physical motion sends a clear, powerful reset message directly to your brain, signaling that you are not, in fact, stuck, that you are actively engaging with your environment. Movement, even small movements, effectively interrupts that loop of overthinking, rumination, and replaying negative stories. Stories that grow larger and more persistent when you remain physically still. It's a common misconception that you need to wait for your mood to improve before you move, but the profound truth is, you feel better because you moved. The movement creates the feeling. You don't wait for a surge of energy, you actively create it through movement. You don't wait for clarity, you move your way into it. This powerful mind-body connection means that a slumped, closed posture often reflects a bad mental state, but actively standing tall, engaging your core, and moving your body powerfully and positively influences your mind. This is about taking back agency from your emotions.
Totally. What's genuinely fascinating here is how profoundly this habit democratizes mental well-being. It makes an incredibly powerful self-regulation tool accessible to literally anyone, anywhere, at any time, without needing specialized equipment, expensive therapy, or even perfect external conditions. It's free. It's always there. It truly highlights our innate biological capacity for self-regulation. Movement also plays a crucial role in the physical release of tension. Your body inherently holds emotions and stores physical tension, and when you remain still in a bad state, that physiological tension often increases, compounding your discomfort. But as soon as you start moving, even minimally, your nervous system responds. Your body begins to release built-up stress hormones like cortisol. And you can literally feel the weight that was pressing down on your mood begin to dissipate. As endorphins, your body's natural mood elevators, are released. It feels good.
That's such a clear explanation of the physiological impact. Yeah. So what this all means is the simple yet profound realization that our physical state, it's a direct, immediate, and powerful lever for influencing and improving our emotional state. The practical applications, the how, is wonderfully accessible. It's not complicated. It doesn't have to be intense or even involve a full workout. Forget the gym membership if that's not your thing right now. It can be as simple as just standing up from your desk and stretching, walking around a small room, doing a few quick squats, or simply consciously changing your posture to a more open, expansive one. Shoulders back, head up. The absolute key is to act before the low mood fully takes control and paralyzes you. Catch it early. Use movement as a consistent tool throughout your day. Take a short walk when you feel stuck on a problem. Stand up and stretch when your thoughts become too loud or overwhelming. Do something physically active when you feel yourself spiraling into negativity. Train your body to be a reliable signal. It inherently knows when you need a shift. Pay attention. When your energy feels off, your mood dips, or your mind races, the simple instruction is just move. Yeah. Don't try to fight your feelings head on. Instead, redirect that energy. Don't ignore or suppress stress. Actively release it through motion.
The benefits and impact are remarkable and immediate. You feel it right away. It effectively lifts you out of mental and emotional lows, creates valuable space for fresh, more positive thoughts, opens up new perspectives on challenges, gets vital blood flowing to your brain, and significantly increases your capacity to deal with problems more effectively. It actively fosters emotional control, systematically builds resilience, generates powerful forward momentum, and fundamentally helps you stay firmly in the driver's seat of your day rather than being passively driven by your emotions. It truly serves as a personal reset button and an unshakable anchor when you feel yourself drifting into negativity.
And the common pitfalls. They're familiar to most of us. Waiting for motivation to miraculously strike, which rarely happens when you're already in a low mood, let's be real. Or passively sitting still and hoping the mood will magically fix itself without any active intervention. It usually doesn't. This habit offers an immediate, tangible pathway out of that inertia. IX. Habit 9. Look back at today and ask what improved. Our penultimate habit, habit 9, is look back at today and ask what improved. The core concept here is to integrate daily, intentional reflection as a non-negotiable habit, a sacred ritual almost. This practice allows you to consciously identify moments of growth and progress, no matter how small or subtle, thereby fostering a continuous journey of self-mastery and profound self-awareness. It's about becoming your own most effective internal feedback loop, constantly learning from your lived experience, not just letting days blur together.
Right. And the problem that it addresses is that simply being active or busy isn't at all the same as actually getting better or making meaningful progress. Big difference. Without pausing to reflect at the end of each day, you inevitably miss the subtle shifts, the quiet victories, the better decisions you made. This oversight leads to a pervasive feeling that nothing is truly working, that you're perpetually stuck, and ultimately to profound discouragement and a sense of stagnation. Why bother, you might think. Most people tragically live on mental autopilot. They don't consciously track their progress, and therefore they don't truly learn from their own lives, missing countless opportunities for self-correction and growth.
And the why it matters is incredibly empowering because it completely redefines what improvement looks like. It broadens the definition. True improvement isn't always about grand, externally visible wins or massive achievements. Sometimes, sure, but not always. It's much more often found in the nuanced details. How gracefully you handled a tough conversation, how quickly and resiliently you got back on track after a minor setback, or whether you showed just a little more patience today than you did yesterday. Tiny shifts. Noticing these quiet internal moments of growth builds an undeniable, deeply rooted belief in your own capacity for continuous improvement. And that belief, that internal validation, provides invaluable fuel when external results are slow to materialize or the path feels long. It's the consistent, self-sustaining engine of true, sustained motivation.
This habit, when consistently practiced, is absolutely central to achieving true self-mastery. Real success, the source persuasively argues, is measured not just in external accomplishments, but in how effectively you manage your precious time, your finite energy, your prevailing attitude, and your moment-to-moment choices, the internal game. And the only consistent, reliable way to systematically improve in these deeply personal fundamental areas is through honest, consistent, and compassionate reflection. It systematically cultivates heightened awareness and profound ownership of your life. This habit actively stops you from passively drifting through your days, from endlessly repeating old, unhelpful mistakes, and from letting days, weeks, and months pass without meaning or intentionality. It transforms passive experience into powerful ownership, which then, in turn, fuels undeniable momentum. You quite literally become your own most insightful coach, diligently studying your progress, spotting subtle patterns in your behavior, and systematically building better habits one conscious, deliberate choice at a time. This raises a crucial question. If our personal growth often feels invisible, incremental, or intangible, how does this habit actively transform arbitrary daily activity into a deliberate, measurable feedback loop, making personal development a visible, tangible, and deeply reinforcing process?
That's a brilliant way to put it. Yeah. It highlights the idea that growth isn't just a distant destination to be reached, but a daily, intimate conversation with yourself about your own ongoing evolution. The practical application, the how, is beautifully simple and accessible. Anyone can do this. At the end of each day, create a sacred space for yourself, just a few minutes. Sit quietly, turn off your phone, eliminate all noise and distractions, just be. Then ask yourself this singular question: what improved today? Don't overthink it. You can write it down, speak it out loud, or simply think through your day from morning to night, meticulously recalling moments. Where were you surprisingly strong? Where did you hesitate but still choose to act? Where did you show up just a little better, a little more aligned than you did yesterday? The focus here is on even 1% improvement, whether it's in your attitude, your focus, your choices, or your discipline. Small wins count. Make it deeply personal. This isn't about comparing yourself to others or trying to impress anyone, just for you. If you genuinely grew, even in a tiny way, be proud. Allow yourself to feel that quiet satisfaction. Acknowledge it. If not, be honest with yourself. Adjust your approach for tomorrow and get ready to go again tomorrow with renewed intention. It's about cultivating honesty for the sake of growth, not for guilt or debilitating shame.
Exactly. The benefits and profound impact of consistently practicing this daily reflection are truly transformative. It builds a deep, unwavering belief in your own capacity for growth, sustains your intrinsic motivation, even when external results are slow, heightens your self-awareness to an incredible degree, and dramatically increases your sense of ownership over your life. It sharpens your self-coaching ability, fosters radical honesty, allows you to learn profoundly from your own unique experience, and leads to a clearer mind, sharper, more intentional actions, and a more purposeful allocation of your precious time. Ultimately, it leads to steady, compounding improvement, a deeper, more meaningful connection to your overall purpose, and a mindset that quite literally gets stronger, wiser, and more resilient with each passing day.
And the common pitfalls are so easy to fall into, overlooking those small, quiet, incremental improvements because they don't feel dramatic enough. Discounting the little things, focusing exclusively on grand, obvious achievements and dismissing the daily wins, or simply rushing through the day without any pause, any sacred space for genuine, honest reflection, just going through the motions. This habit forces that crucial pause, that moment of internal reckoning that fuels all true progress. X habit 10. Stick to good habits until they feel natural. Finally, we arrive at habit 10, the capstone. Stick to good habits until they feel natural. The core concept here is about cultivating an unyielding commitment to maintaining consistent effort with positive habits, long enough for them to fundamentally transition from conscious, often effortful tasks into automatic, deeply ingrained, almost effortless parts of your identity. The goal state. It's about reaching that transformative state where your positive behaviors are no longer something you do, but simply who you are.
Hmm. And the problem this habit directly addresses is precisely why most people give up too soon on their aspirations for self-improvement. It's the quitting point for many. They often mistakenly expect habits to feel easy quickly, or they hit the inevitable point of friction, that period of discomfort and resistance, and they allow their initial motivation to wane. Or external distractions pull them decisively off course, thereby resetting the progress they've diligently made. Back to square one. This leads to a profoundly frustrating cycle of perpetually starting and stopping, never quite breaking through to that elusive plateau of true, sustainable transformation. They mistake the initial effort, the struggle, for a permanent state. It's not.
And the why it matters is because true, lasting transformation, the source emphatically tells us, happens after the repetition. It's earned. You don't just get results, you earn them patiently and persistently by sticking with a habit long enough for it to become an intrinsic part of who you are, woven into the fabric of your being. The beginning, undeniably, is always the hardest part. That's where the most significant resistance, the most acute friction lies. It feels awkward, effortful. But consistently pushing through that early discomfort, that initial mental and emotional resistance, allows your mindset and your very identity to adapt and evolve, systematically making the entire process progressively easier and more automatic over time. It leads to what we might call automatic excellence. Consistent daily repetition eventually silences the internal arguments, eliminates the need for endless overthinking, and quiets the internal debate. The habit simply becomes part of your natural rhythm, your inherent standard, and just how you effortlessly move through life without needing to talk yourself into it every single time. It frees up so much cognitive energy.
That point about consistency over perfection is absolutely key. Crucial, really. You truly don't need dramatic, headline-grabbing daily wins to build powerful habits. What you desperately need is quiet consistency. Just showing up. This insight is particularly liberating because it removes the pressure of flawlessness. You don't have to be perfect. The source makes a crucial distinction. One missed day doesn't magically undo a habit you've been building, but quitting does. That's the killer. This habit is fundamentally about a profound identity shift. Treating your desired habits as intrinsic parts of your evolving identity, rather than just temporary challenges or fleeting goals, is crucial to their permanence. You are actively replacing old, unhelpful patterns and systematically teaching your mind and body a new standard, a new way of being. If we connect this to the bigger picture, this habit is truly the ultimate master key, the foundational principle upon which all other habits become sustainable. Why? Because it transforms effort into identity. It makes your desired future not just a distant goal to be pursued, but a vibrant, lived reality that you embody every single day. This is truly where the profound, lasting magic happens. It's the integration.
That's incredibly powerful, the truth. That true transformation isn't about dramatic, sudden breakthroughs, but about the quiet, unyielding power of consistent, patient repetition. The practical application, the how, is all about pushing through that inevitable friction those days where it doesn't feel rewarding at all, where it feels like sheer grunt work, or when no one, including you perhaps, sees any visible changes yet. You've got to trust the process. As the source says, that's the precise space where habits get solid, where they become deeply ingrained and resilient in that struggle. It's about showing up anyway, regardless of how you feel. Show up when it's hard, show up when it's boring, show up when you'd much rather do something else entirely. Just do it. And critically, if you slip or miss a day, and you will because you're human, the vital thing is to pick it back up immediately, without a single ounce of guilt or self-recrimination. Get back on track. And patience is paramount. Understand that there's no fixed magical timeline for a habit to feel natural. It takes as long as it takes to make it feel natural. Trust it. The ultimate goal is to keep going, keep showing up until you no longer have to consciously think about it, until it simply becomes your default way of being. Effortless.
Yes, exactly. The profound benefits and lasting impact of this unwavering persistence are permanent change. genuinely automatic behavior that frees up mental energy, and a significantly reduced internal struggle with yourself. Less willpower needed. It leads to consistent compounding progress and the emergence of a new, more capable identity, one that is inherently more focused, more capable, and demonstrably more consistent. It builds an enduring inner strength for those inevitable moments when external motivation runs dry, fosters deep, unwavering resilience, and ultimately leads to a life that runs on a new, robust system built on strength, consistency, and sustained growth. It's the ultimate payoff for disciplined effort. The long game.
And the common pitfalls here. They are incredibly tempting. Quitting during that transition or tension phase, often precisely when the habit is just on the verge of getting easier and more automatic, right before the breakthrough. Or simply expecting dramatic results and the feeling of ease far too quickly, long before your brain has rewired itself. Impatience. This habit, perhaps more than any other, reminds us that endurance, quiet, consistent endurance, is truly the secret ingredient to lasting change. Outro. Wow. We've truly taken a deep dive today, unpacking 10 powerful habits that offer a clear, actionable, and truly transformative path to rewiring your mindset. From waking each day with a clear purpose and consciously stopping the waste of your precious, irreplaceable time, to strategically planning your day before the world's distractions can derail you, and then cultivating a truly compassionate, respectful internal self-talk. We moved into the critical, often uncomfortable importance of taking immediate action even when your mind, that master procrastinator, says to delay, and consistently pushing yourself to finish what you start on the very same day, closing those loops. We then explored the liberating, empowering power of saying no to the myriad things that drain your vital energy. The continuous enrichment and adaptability found in learning one new thing daily, and the immediate, profound mood shift that comes from engaging in simple physical movement. Finally, we looked at the wisdom of daily reflection, asking yourself what improved, even incrementally, and the ultimate commitment of sticking to good habits until they feel completely natural, until they are simply who you are. Each and every one of these habits is a vital, interconnected building block for a more intentional, a more focused, and more profoundly resilient you.
Mhm. This deep dive, in its essence, has meticulously laid out the map. We've given you the blueprint. But the journey, as always, is uniquely yours to embark upon. You have to walk the path. Remember, you don't get a better life by passively waiting for it, hoping things will magically improve. It doesn't work that way. You get it, you build it, by actively cultivating better habits. One consistent choice, one deliberate action at a time, day by day, every single day, every hour. Every seemingly small choice you make is a powerful, undeniable chance to sculpt and refine the person you want to become, to step closer to your highest potential.
So pulling all this profound insight together, what does this all mean for you right now, listening to this? The power to shape your future isn't held in some distant, abstract ambition or a grand, elusive goal that forever remains just out of reach. It resides fully and completely in the small, consistent choices you make right now, today, in this moment. These habits, when cultivated with unwavering intention and patience, become the very architecture, the fundamental blueprint of your desired reality. If your habits, both conscious and unconscious, are indeed the unseen architects of your future, consider this as you move forward. What grand design are you unconsciously sketching today with your current patterns? And what deliberate, intentional stroke will you choose to make tomorrow to bring your profound vision of your best self into sharper, undeniable focus? What will you choose to build starting today?